Hello, everybody. We are here with the great Catherine Fearns from the Project Chaos Rising Project. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, that's awesome. So what time is it where you are at right now?
It's midnight. Wow. So the kids are in bed. The dog is in bed. Hopefully I won't wake them up, but the piano is pretty loud. So we might get a few visitors at some point.
Well, how many children do you have?
I have 4 plus the dog.
4 plus the dog. So you guys don't own a TV, huh? That's great. Yeah. So I hope we don't wake them up. And we do really, really, really appreciate the fact that you are joining us. I found you on Instagram and I fell in love with your page. I fell in love with everything you do, and I had to get in contact with you, and here we are today.
Thank you. I was really surprised, actually, that you invited me to play because it's such a metal channel, and you actually did a reaction video to one of our Chaos Rising videos. So,
yes.
But happy surprise anyway, so thank you.
Yeah, you know what? We've done other things. We've done rap, we've done country. It's far and few between, but you know what? We appreciate great music. So if you notice that Jonathan isn't here right now, he should be getting off of work in a few minutes, and he should be joining us in the middle of the interview. So that should be fun. But you're a composer, you're an author, you're a guitarist, and you're a pianist for Chaos Rising Project, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So tell us, how many years have you been playing your instruments?
So the guitar is probably the simpler one to answer. I've been playing the guitar for 7 years, so not too long. The piano is a little more complicated. I definitely didn't have a traditional route to where I am now as a classical composer. So I took piano lessons when I was a child, and I was one of those annoying kids who found it really easy. So I went through all the exams and the local concerts and competitions, and everyone said, oh yeah, she's going to be a classical pianist. And then I quit. When I was 18, I just stopped playing. I still don't really know why. I think there was a bit of self-sabotage involved. And I guess I didn't really believe it was possible to be a musician. I guess I thought it was something that people dreamed about but didn't really do. So I did something else at university, and I did a bunch of other jobs, and I had my kids. But I always had that regret somewhere. And I didn't touch a piano for 20 years. And then it was heavy metal that brought me back to classical music, actually. And there were actually more similarities between those two genres than people might think. But I started playing the guitar for Chaos Rising, and they suggested, well, why don't you try writing some songs? And that got me back to playing the piano again. And I did some piano on some metal songs. And so that brought me back to classical music. And then, I don't know, I guess there are thousands of pianists from conservatoires who can play Beethoven better than me. So I figured, I'm going to write my own music that only I can play. And I found a style that has a little bit of metal in it, a bit of classical, and it's great. It's a whole new world for me. And the music is just coming out. I have loads of ideas. So I had my first album out last year, and I'm working on the second one now.
All right, excellent. So you said that metal got you back into music. So yeah. How did that happen? Like, what bands do you listen to that made you say, I want to get back into music?
So when I was a child, there wasn't really a metal scene where I lived in Liverpool, and we didn't have the internet back then, so I wasn't really exposed to much metal, but I knew that I liked Metallica and Iron Maiden and that sort of thing. And so after my fourth baby was born, I had one of those kind of early midlife crises that lots of women have around that time. I just didn't know what I was doing. I was lost. I needed a new thing. And so I just went to a guitar shop one day and I bought an electric guitar because I thought they were cool. And I started taking lessons and playing the Metallica riffs that I knew and the Iron Maiden riffs that I knew. But my guitar teacher plays in a grindcore band called Nostromo. And so he got me into much heavier music, and I started listening to more and more extreme metal. And so, yeah, that's how I got into extreme metal. And then in Chaos Rising, we play whichever style the vocalist wants to sing. So I've done symphonic, I've done doom, I've done black metal. But my favorite genre is, I would say, grindcore and death metal. So more inside.
So can you tell us all about Chaos Rising project? How did it start? Where was it born? You know, who came up with the idea? Give us a whole story. Yes.
Chaos Rising is an all-female metal project. So it's not really a band. It's a collective. It was set up by Stephanie Nolf, who is a French musician who plays in Unsafe, death metal band. She set it up in 2019. I joined a few months after. And the idea is that we bring together...
Look who we got.
Hello. Hi, nice to see you. We're just talking about Chaos Rising. So the idea is that we bring together female metal musicians from all over the world to showcase their talents and to fill the gaps where they've been underrepresented. I mean, now things are so much better for women in metal than they used to be, but there are still gaps, particularly drummers, guitarists, producers. So we do everything ourselves, and we work in teams, and we have, we might, on one song, we might have a drummer in Australia, we might have a singer in Iran, we might have the bassist in the US. So it's a very unique way of working. And it's an amazing opportunity for me. And we're really proud of what we've managed to put together. I've even got our album here to show you. This is our album, which came out a couple of months ago. And this is a really unique album because it has 36 musicians playing on it from 20 countries. And we have, it's a double album. So the first side is extreme metal and the second side is melodic metal. I don't think there's any other bands who are doing metal that spans genres like that. So we're really proud of it. And we're still working on the next album. So yeah, it's a really cool project, and it's been such an amazing opportunity for me and really a stepping stone back to classical music, strangely too.
Well, how do you find the musicians? And when you find the musicians, how do you guys communicate? Everything's through emails and stuff?
Yeah, so sometimes we approach musicians who we want to work with. And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no, sometimes they don't respond. And sometimes girls come to us. And then we work in groups by WhatsApp or Telegram. We send the files back to each other. We have a Google Drive. And somehow it comes together. The challenge is the recording, obviously, because we're all recording at home. So everyone plays on the click. And in theory, if we all play perfectly, then we can mix it together. But often we have to go back and redo. Because the thing that we pride ourselves on is the quality of the music. And doing that in several countries at once is a real challenge, but it's possible. And it's a way of working that lots of other musicians have had to get used to the past couple of years for obvious reasons. So it's a new way of making music. And it's challenging technically, but that's how we work. And it's a kind of fluctuating membership. At any one time, we'll have several songs being made, and some people will be in different groups. So the songs somehow come together.
So, I just want to say, with a little bit of context I have heard of the Chaos Rising project before. It is very impressive what you guys are doing.
Thank you. You did a reaction video to our Silent Design.
Wow.
That was really cool. We love that.
So where is the main hub? Like who? Because if you have, say you have 5 girls you're working with at one time, right? And one's recording isn't as top level as the next. So you might get a very low quality of something and a very high quality of something. Where is the main hub that the person takes everything and makes everything equal, and where it's broke down, where it's mastered, how does that all come together, and where is the main hub?
Yeah, that's a good question. The main hub is Stephanie. Stephanie does all the mixing and the mastering. And she's a pretty strict taskmaster. If she doesn't like what we've recorded, we have to go back and do it again. Because if pardon?
She's the bassist.
She actually plays everything. She plays bass, guitar. She does vocals, songwriting, and then she does all the mixing and mastering. And if we don't play as perfectly as we can, then the mixing can't happen because we're not all together in the studio. We can't go back and change little things here and there. The whole recording has to be perfect. So we just keep doing it until we get it right. And we just strive for the highest quality possible. So everyone has to learn. It's a really steep learning curve about recording techniques and which systems we're using and microphones and but without Stephanie, I don't know how it would come together because she's the mastermind, definitely.
Good work.
So who would you say influenced you to get into music, and who you base your music around from growing up?
Metal wise, in Chaos Rising, it really depends what style we're working in at that particular time. But my favorite. So the band that got me into extreme metal was Children of Bodom, and that's still one of my favorite bands. So I love melodic death metal. I love a lot of metalcore bands, and deathcore I'm super into. And I'm actually working on a deathcore song for Chaos Rising right now. I love Whitechapel and Thy Art Is Murder. And I try and bring metal into my piano compositions when I can. I'm not so much of a fan of piano covers of metal songs because sometimes it can be a little clunky. It doesn't always translate. I was working on a Cannibal Corpse cover for you today, but it's not quite there yet. It's not quite there. It's coming. It's coming. But sometimes it's really interesting to take an idea from one type of music and apply it to another. So some of my piano pieces, you might hear a little bit of a riff here and there that's come from Rotting Christ or Obituary. And sometimes it's really cool to play something on one instrument that's actually been written for another, because you get different tones that come out and it takes you in different directions. So I take my influences from all over. But right now it's deathcore is what I'm listening to the most, I would say.
Now are you passing this beautiful language to your kids? Like you wake, good morning.
I've tried to get all my kids into metal, and only one is a metalhead. The youngest, she's 8, and she just had her first gig. She plays guitar as well. She played AC/DC. It was super cute. So she's my favorite child, obviously. The others,
I don't say that.
Not so much. They find the whole thing pretty embarrassing, actually. And one of my daughters takes piano lessons too. But no, I've not managed to pass that on. So I've just got the one little mini metalhead in my family.
See, I'm sorry. I want to ask something. What is melodic deathcore? Because those two words I don't think I've ever seen put together.
Melodic deathcore. So did I say melodic deathcore? So Children of Bodom is melodic death. And then you have deathcore. Melodic deathcore, you could say maybe bands like Brand of Sacrifice and Winds of Plague. They have keyboards in their deathcore. And then Whitechapel can get melodic. In fact, on their last album, they had some clean singing. But melodic death. Okay, you know what? For our next Chaos Rising, I'm going to make it melodic deathcore. I'm going to get some pianos in there and see what I can come up with.
So that's what makes it melodic is the pianos?
Not necessarily. It could be clean singing. But yeah, there needs to be a tune somewhere.
Because I had to ask.
So you also say, let's get off the music for a little bit. So you also say you're an author.
Yeah, that's my day job, although it doesn't really pay much more than the music. But yeah, that's what I am. That's my main job. I'm an author.
Now, are you an author for music? Like, do you write about music, or do you something totally different?
I actually started out as a music journalist. I was a music journalist for about 3 years, and that was awesome because I got to interview so many cool musicians. That was amazing. But when I became a musician myself, I didn't want to do it anymore because it's so painful to read reviews. And now that I know what it's like to be reviewed myself, I don't want to write those reviews anymore. So I don't do music journalism anymore. But I write crime fiction novels, and they are heavy metal themed. So they have a lot of music in them. They have they're crime fiction novels set in Liverpool, and one of the main characters is a death metal guitarist. And he gets into sort of crime fighting on the side. So yeah, there's lots of music in my books as well, definitely.
Awesome.
Is there anything you see like that you kind of wanted to do but just haven't gotten to yet?
In terms of writing?
Yeah, in terms of writing.
Loads of things. A part of me feels I'm really catching up because, like I was saying before, this is really a sort of post-midlife crisis thing for me. It's all kind of new, and I've got ideas coming out everywhere. So I have loads of books I want to write, loads of music I want to compose. It's just finding the time and seeing what direction I go in. But I definitely want to get more into more instrumentation with music, because right now I'm mainly composing either heavy metal or classical piano. But I've done a few little trailers for people's movies and things, and so I'd like to do a bit more composing with more instruments and with books. I don't know. I'm going to keep on with my crime series, and I'm gonna see where it takes me. It's really exciting. I never thought I'd be this creative person that I am now, but yeah, making some money out of it would be good too. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going and see where it takes me.
Yeah, well, we're on the same page because I'm in my midlife crisis area too. And I'll post. I'm 47 years old, so I got the guitars, I got the drums, I got all my hobbies that just came out in the past couple years. I was a musician, I'm not, now I am again. So
exactly, but it's great. It's so fun, and it keeps us young, and it's
I'm so happy.
Great.
I'm going through finals week. That's all I got.
Yeah, he's in college, this kid. He's got his exams this week.
Oh, so, you did?
What is one thing that you remember someone telling you that has stuck with you your whole life?
Okay, I have one thing that it's kind of a depressing thing that someone told me, and it was totally wrong, but it definitely affected my musical choices. So when I was about 11, I started taking classical guitar lessons. And the only reason I did that was because I wanted to play the electric guitar, but there were no electric guitar teachers in my area. But I told this classical guitar teacher that I wanted to be in a heavy metal band when I grew up. And he was really horrified. And he was like, those people are not real musicians, and the electric guitar is easy to play. It's not a real instrument. And that kind of stuck with me because I was 11, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to play the guitar then. And I quit playing classical guitar because I didn't really get on with this teacher. But when I finally picked up the electric guitar in my 30s, I figured, well, I'm a classical musician. How hard can it be? And it was really hard. And the electric guitar is as difficult and technical an instrument as any orchestral instrument, if not more difficult, because the amount of things you have to control with all the electronics and effects. So I have this enormous respect for heavy metal musicians. And when I go to concerts, and I watch what they're doing on stage, and I can see how incredibly difficult it is. I kind of wish that metal musicians had more respect as musicians. Most people, when I tell them I'm in a heavy metal band, they sort of make a face, and they're not interested in that at all. But I think it is such a technical and difficult thing to do that I kind of wish I'd had more respect for metal before. And now it's taken over my life. But that, yeah, I have a lot of regrets that I didn't get into metal earlier in life.
What's his name?
Yeah.
The teacher.
His name. Oh, he was called Mr. Hale. Mr. Hale.
You don't like
classical
Mr.
guitar.
Hale.
No. Yeah, he ruined my heavy metal career.
Whatever.
But I'm back there. 30 years later, I'm starting again.
That's great. So okay. Well, Mr. Hale ruined her life. All right, but she's back. She's back.
I'm back, and I think the best advice I'm getting is now. Now that I'm surrounded by musicians again, I'm learning what it takes to be a musician, and I'm learning that most musicians actually aren't extroverts and performers. They still find it terrifying to go on stage. They just do it because they have to do it, because they love it, because they can't do anything else. So yeah, I'm just surrounding myself with creative people now that I didn't have in my life before. So it's all a revelation to me, and I'm learning new stuff every day. It's awesome.
Honest thing about life is proving.
Well, how do you? I got two more questions for you. So how do you find time, being that you are a mom of four? How do you find time for all this music and practice? And
well, I probably don't practice as much as I should. I started writing when the kids were still really small, and I actually just wrote at night when they were asleep. I don't really sleep that much, so I write at night. Now they're at school, so I have time in the day to write as well. I'm quite good at picking it up and putting it down. I don't need to have like a 4-hour stretch. I can get some writing done in 20 minutes. So yeah, I just find the time. And then with the music, a big thing for me was that I bought this. This is an electric grand, so I can plug in the headphones. So, because the thing about the piano is it's so all-consuming. When you play a piano in the house, everyone can hear. So getting this electric piano where I can play silently without disturbing anyone. So, and it's right in the middle of the house. This is in my living room. So, whenever I'm walking past, I'll have a little practice. And so yeah, it's just fitting it in. And as the kids get older, I get a little bit more time. So, but yeah, that's a good question. It's a struggle.
So what would you tell someone starting music right now? What should they know about the music industry or just getting into music in general?
The music industry, I don't know. In some ways, it's so much more accessible than it used to be because anyone can make music. Anyone can put it out there. Anyone can buy themselves the software. And so I would say to anyone to just go for it. Another thing I've learned is that you don't have to go to a conservatoire to be an incredible musician. And some of the guitarists that I know, they don't read music, but they're better musicians than I could ever be. The thing I say to my kids, or I would if they were interested in music, but what I say to them in general is that if you have a passion for something, then you should go for it because you're probably going to end up doing it one day anyway. I mean, that's what happened to me with music. So I don't think anyone should be afraid of following what they're passionate about. Certainly don't follow trends. Don't do the things that you think you should be doing. Do the things that you love doing and that your instinct tells you to do. Sorry, does that answer the question at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but what would you say to somebody that doesn't know what they want to play? Because there's thousands of instruments. How does someone choose an instrument?
Right. Well, I mean, if you are into, it depends what type of music you're into. If you're into metal, then I would say take either guitar or drum lessons. there's no reason why you have to start with the piano.
Or the bassist forget me. I said that poor bassist.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? We kind of overlook bassists, and we shouldn't. You know, I have a bass, and when I bought it, I figured, oh yeah, it'd be easy to play. I'll just play it on demos, and surely it's just like a guitar. But actually, I don't really know how to play it. I play it like a guitar, but I have no technique whatsoever. So yeah, all bass lessons, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think the piano is a good place to start because it gives you a really good overview of, you learn to read music, you learn the theory. It's pretty useful to know the theory. But I think it depends on what music you're into. I mean, some people are into, if you're into electronic music, you don't necessarily need to play an instrument. There's so much you can do with a computer. It's amazing. But yeah, I would probably vote for piano or guitar. I think you can't go wrong. I
think you're right. Because reading music theory, like you said, you learn the notes, you learn half steps, 16s, 30 seconds. You learn it all through the piano. So
piano for me is the easy to learn, hard to master one.
Yeah. All right. So being that you played the piano, we would love
speaking of
for you to play for us on our page.
Sure. So I can give you a little bit of an exclusive. I can play something from my next album, which hasn't been heard yet. So I could start with that.
Yes, we would love
how
that.
We go. Okay.
First, people, number 50.
This is very strange. Are you going to react to my playing?
We'll nod our heads approvingly.
Yes, if we do this, it sucks, right?
All right, so I'm going to play this. This is going to be on my next album. I'm not going to tell you the title because that's a work in progress. So maybe when I've finished, you can give me your suggested titles. How about that? All right, here we go. There we go.
Ain't no way that's going in a metal song. That's sick.
So your next album's gonna be metal or it's gonna be classical?
It's going to be pretty classical. The next one.
Okay. Sorry, assumption.
So what do you think? What would you call that? You got a title?
Lightning. No, that's copyrighted. Oh my God.
What? Okay, in your mind, can you give us a background story of what that song might be about? Because I have Somber Sun. That's what came out to my. Like I imagine like the sun staring on the universe and just letting out, like, just very somber, and that's what I'm getting at. That's what I got out of it.
I love that title. It's actually, at the moment, it's called Drifting. I was thinking kind of river, like walking along a river, sort of aimlessly wandering. So at the moment it's called Drifting, but I like Somber Sun though. I might change it now.
No, listen, I think you should change it, because I see more than a river. Like, I was thinking like the sun's looking down on the earth and everything is happening. Volcanoes, the rivers, just earthquakes, and the earth is just sitting there with a sigh, and he's just looking down, and that's what I got out of that whole song.
Oh wow, I love that.
See, my whole thought process was like an open meadow covered in flowers and all that.
That's part of the Somber Sun.
That's part of the Somber Sun.
Okay, I like your titles better than mine. Maybe I'll go with Somber Sun.
If you do, please just put the Nobodies reaction there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a copyright.
Yeah, you have to get some royalties for that.
No. I don't want no royalties. I want you to enjoy the name, because I that's what I got out of it. I was like, see a sun just staring down on the earth and just enjoying everything it's the rays are giving this earth.
I love that. I'll give you a percentage of my 0.0001 cents that I get on Spotify right now.
It's like our song. We got 70 cents. We made a lot of money this year.
You want another one?
I would love another one.
We'll love it.
All right. So this one is called Cyclades. It's from my last album. It's kind of Greek. And I don't know if you're a Rotting Christ fan. You know Rotting Christ?
I've heard of them, no.
They're a Greek death metal band. And I have to admit that I did steal a Rotting Christ riff. So you might, if you hear a kind of metal style riff in there, then that's from Rotting Christ.
So before you play, what does Cyclades actually mean?
Cyclades are a group of islands in the Aegean Sea. So this was inspired by a boat trip that I took in Greece last year.
Very nice.
Here we go.
heavy. That's awesome.
So did you guess the Rotten Christ riff then?
Nice.
It was that one.
I had a feeling it sounded the heaviest out of all of them.
Yeah, that's from it's from Phobos' Synagogue, which is it's a deep cut by Rotten Christ. But that's a great band. You should check them out. Actually, they play a lot of traditional Greek music, but they make it super heavy. They're one of my favorite bands, so definitely recommend.
We'll check them out for sure. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's. Do you have one more, or do you want to end it?
I can do one more to finish if you like.
Yes, let's do one more. We'll take it.
Let's go for it. This is quite a challenging one, and it's kind of late at night, so forgive any little mistakes. I'll do my best. This is called Desire Paths, and it was the first song from my last album. So here we go. It was almost there.
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you. That's all we got to say. So on that last note, we are going to end this interview. It was absolutely fantastic, and we want you to join us in the. Okay?
It catches everyone off guard. Don't worry.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I really appreciate it because I know that you do a lot of metal and a lot of pop music, and it was really cool that you did some classical music as well. So really appreciate it.
I grew up playing piano. It was something I fell out of as I got into high school and stuff like that, but I've been playing again recently, and this was very inspiring. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
So guys, remember to hit that like, subscribe button, and tell us down in the comments section below what else you'd like to see on the channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. It meant a lot. And press the bell next subscribe button to get notified every time we upload a video. I'm Son.
And I'm Father. And you are?
Catherine Fearns.
Rock on!